You know who made it.
In sociolinguistics, an accent is a manner of pronunciation peculiar to a particular individual, location, or nation. In English, there are different accents. I'm going to mention the principal characteristics of some of them. American accent. Prominent features such as rhotic, meaning the R is pronounced in the words, and it doesn't matter whether R comes in the middle, at the beginning, or at the end of the word. It is still completely pronounced. For example, French fries, roller coaster, garage. The next characteristic is the T between two vowels sounds like D phonetically, but it is most likely the sound of the R. For example, better, butter, Betty, later, water. The silent T, if T comes after N, since these two consonants are almost produced from the same place in the mouth, pronouncing both of them right after the other will be difficult. As a result, T becomes silent. For example, international, advantages, the internet, center. When you have an N and a T in a word, sometimes it's a glottal stop, like mountain, cotton, written, important. One more time, mountain, cotton, written, important. The link of words when finished in consonant sounds and then the next word begins with a vowel. For example, that's up to you. I live in the US. I'm a firefighter. I don't get it. British accent. Usually non-rhotic, the R at the end of words isn't pronounced. This sound is replaced by the sounds of ah. For example, water, daughter, later, teacher. The pronunciation of the words with the vowel O. Normally, these words are pronounced in American accent like not, got, got, but in British accent, they are pronounced like not, got, got. Then we have some British dialects, and the first one is Cockney. Cockney is probably the second most famous British accent. It originated in the East End of London, but shares many features with and influences other dialects in that region. Most important feature, raised vowels in words like trap and cat, so this sounds like trap, cat. Then we have the actor, Statham Jason. Estuary English, Southeast British. Estuary is an accent derived from London English, which has achieved a status slightly similar to General American in the US. Most important feature, similar to Cockney, but in general estuary speakers do not front th words or raise the vowel in trap. There are few hard and fast rules. Then we have, as an actor, Chef Gordon Ramsay. West Country, Southwest British. West Country refers to a large swath of accents heard in the south of England, starting about 50 miles west of London and extending to the Welsh border. Features rhoticity, meaning that the letter R is pronounced after vowels. So, for example, whereas somebody from London would pronounce mother as mother, somebody from Bristol would say mother, the way people pronounce the word in America or Ireland. For this accent, then we have Stephen Merchant. Northern England English. There are the accents and dialects spoken north of the Midlands in cities like Manchester, Leeds, and Liverpool. Related accents also found in rural Yorkshire, although there are some unique dialect features as well. For example, the food slut merger, non-rhoticity, except in some rural areas. As an example of this accent, we have Joe Cocker. Geordie. Geordie usually refers to both the people and dialect of Newcastle in northeast England. The word may also refer to accents and dialects in northeast England in general. I would classify this as a separate region from the rest of northern England because it is so radically different from the languages spoken in nearby cities. The most important features: the food stud merger, non rhoticity, in the cities at least. As an example of this accent, Cheryl Cole. Welsh English. This refers to the accents and dialects spoken in the country of Wales. The speech of this region is heavily influenced by the Welsh language, which remained more widely spoken in modern times than the other Celtic languages. The most important features, usually non-rhotic, English is generally modeled after received pronunciation or related accents, but with many holdovers from the Welsh language. As an example, we have Rhys Ifans. Scottish English. This is the broad definition used to describe English as it is spoken in the country of Scotland. Scottish English is different than Scots, a language derived from Northumbrian Old English that is spoken in Scotland as well. Than being said, Scots has a strong influence on how English in Scotland is spoken. The most important features: rhotic with trill or tap R's, glottal stopping to the letter T when in between vowels, similar to Cockney, and related accents. As an example, we have Peter Mullins. Australian accent. The Australian accent is for the most part non-rhotic. This means that the pronunciation of the R sounds will never occur at the end of the words, where an American will say car. Australian people will say car. This is a key feature that only occasionally has exceptions. Another important characteristic is the pronunciation of the vowel A. Mostly the sound is the way this vowel is pronounced in the word apple. For example, American people say play and say. Australian people say apple, ply, sigh. Canadian accent. In terms of the major sound system phonologies of English around the world, Canadian English aligns most closely to American English, both being grouped together under a common North American English sound system. The mainstream Canadian accent, Standard Canadian, is often compared to the very similar and largely overlapping General American accent. There are certain sounds that are pronounced differently, such as or sound, for example, sorry or out. In Canadian accent, they pronounce like sorry and out, out. Another particular sound is e. For example, I didn't know what weather was so cold, so I decided not to be there for long. Irish accent. One feature that sets Irish English apart is its rhoticity, which, like American English, leaves no R unpronounced. Another difference is how spoken T sounds more like chi, so to sounds more like chew. Similarly, DS sounds more like J's to the non-Irish ear. For example, idiot sounds in American accent. In Irish sounds like idiot, idiot. The sounds like Ireland produces sounds in like oi. For example, Ireland, Ireland. Then sounds like flower, hour, sour. The sounds is more like er. For example, flower, hour, sour.